Hey guys, it's Brian here with Spirited Smoke, and we are here at Copper Bottom Craft Distillery in Daytona Beach, and I'm here with the master distiller, Jeremy Craig. Jeremy, you have a background in science that I think probably helps you a lot in the distilling. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
I have a lot of background in chemistry and biology, and it's really helped me out in this industry. This is a very science-based industry, and if you look at most of the master distillers out there, these big distilleries, most of them have chemical engineer backgrounds or chemistry backgrounds. So it really does help a lot.
The first episode that we're doing is based on the olfactory senses and being able to taste or smell spirits and cigars better. And so a lot of people, I think, are kind of tasting more with their sensation than they are with what actually gets these notes of woods and, you know, vanilla and stuff like that. Can you give us a little bit of insight into that as a distiller?
Spirits are just like cigars, kind of an overpowering, or can be an overpowering kind of a taste or flavor.
Sure.
So you really have to, first of all, you have to practice. You can't just, if somebody says, oh, you're gonna taste the leather, the wood, the oak, all that, you're not gonna taste that right away.
Right.
So just don't get discouraged, because nobody gets it right away.
Okay.
The biggest thing is you have to take your time. Don't just go in and take a big whiff of a high proof spirit right away. Open your mouth a little bit, smell with your mouth and your nose.
Yeah.
That actually helps to help you get a little bit more of that sensation.
So on the exhale with a cigar, we do that and we call it retrohaling.
Okay.
Which a lot of people don't understand. And the way that I explain retrohaling is it's kind of like blowing out a candle, but using both your nose and your mouth. And so it opens the sinuses, and now you're smelling more of that aroma.
Very similar, except what we're doing is breathing in with both your mouth and your nose.
Interesting.
Same kind of thing. It helps to help to bring in more air and not just the alcohol when you're breathing through your nose. Most people don't realize most of your taste is in your smell, so you do have to get a nice smell of it. So anytime I ever try something new, the first thing I do is smell it, because that's going to help me to pick out. That helps to pick out really what I should be tasting.
Got it.
I taste to confirm what it is I'm trying to smell.
Got it.
And when I taste, you don't just taste right away. It's not that you don't taste right away, but the first sip of any high proof spirit is going to kind of be a shock to the senses.
Okay.
So you take that first little sip, you know, you let it, you know, kind of let your palate adjust to it, and then you take a second sip. And you might even want to take a third sip, because that's when you'll really start to pick out some of those little individual notes. And again, you really want to try to pick them out in the nose, then try to confirm it with the taste.
And it's fun to practice.
Absolutely. Yeah, honestly.
I practice every night. I'm getting better.
There's worse things to practice, right? For me, I tend to stick with more traditional or non-flavored type spirits.
Yes,
But
100%.
but even with those, oak or barrels actually can give you a lot of vanilla notes.
Sure.
Those vanilla notes are going to give you some of that sweet. You can also get a lot of bitter notes from different things. So there's a lot of different sensations you can get, and it really just depends on pepper, all that.
Yeah.
It depends on, especially when you're talking about aged spirits, it depends on the type of wood you use. So was it French oak, American oak? Was it charred? Was it toasted?
Can you tell us, just like off the top of your head, like the difference between French or American oak? Because I see those being used a lot.
You do, yeah. Honestly, you're going to see a lot more American oak used. Reason for that is the bourbon industry. The bourbon industry has to use a brand new charred American oak barrel every time. Once they empty it, got to use another barrel. What that does is now there's a surplus of oak barrels. So most people don't realize a lot of scotches, rums, tequilas, brandies, a lot of other spirits other than just bourbon once used bourbon barrels. Reason for that, again, a lot of them, about half the cost, and there's also a lot of life left in them. The other nice thing is the bourbon has taken a lot of the really heavy flavors out. So you get some more of the little subtle notes, the little nuanced notes. Yeah, and a lot of it, like I was saying before, the vanillas, you'll get some of those peppery flavors, some of the spices. And again, just depends, because I kind of like to talk about barrels with almost like steak. You have a raw, bloody steak, right? And then you have a burnt, well done steak. Well, that's kind of your range. You can have a virgin white oak barrel that has nothing done to it, or a number 4 char, really alligator black barrel. every one of those ranges in between gives you a different flavor profile.
I think lastly, what we should do is we should taste some spirits, and you should show us how to professionally taste the spirit as a distiller. It doesn't have to be, you know, like some long drawn out thing, but just show us what you do.
Yeah, no problem. We can do that. Awesome. So, talking about tasting, right? So my first suggestion is I always smell it. And again, I would open your mouth a little bit, also breathe in with your nose and your mouth. And I think you'll see it's got a little hint of almost vanilla to it. Yeah. It's a little sweeter than what you would normally think.
This is what I liked about your rum.
Yeah, and when you smell the rum, it'll be even more pronounced.
Now I'm still getting a little bit of those esters. And
of course.
For people watching, esters are basically what, like broken down, compounded, like ferment or rotting. It's
it's just another compound. Yeah, and at the end of the day, most vodka is going to be mostly ethanol. Actually, most alcohols in general are going to be mostly ethanol. But you're going to get most of the esters mostly in oaked products. But you can still get some in those too.
And you're telling me that there's no additives?
No additives at all. All we do is we add purified water. That's it. The other thing I usually like to do is swish it around your mouth a little bit you want to really coat your tongue with it because like you're saying, different parts of your tongue taste different things. So if you swish it around a little bit, you actually get a little bit more out of it as well.
It's one of the better vodkas I've ever had.
I will tell you, very clean as well. Everybody kind of knows what I'm talking about, right? When you take a sip of something straight and you have to make one of these funny faces and it burns all the way down. Yeah, some of that it's from those off alcohols. We're looking for ethanol when we're distilling. But during fermentation, the yeast will make other types of alcohols that we don't necessarily want. Part of my job is to take those out. As many of them as I possibly can out.
Okay. To do the beer barrel.
Got to do the beer barrel. So this is a very different and kind of an interesting project that we started. Mm-hmm. So this is our beer barrel finished rum. Basically what we do is we take our single barrel rum, age it for 1.5 years, empty that barrel out, and I take it to a local brewery. This one in particular is a little brewery out in DeLand called Persimmon Hollow. Okay. They aged their stout for a little over 1 year in our rum barrel. It's about 13, 14 months.
I like stout.
When they were done, though, I got that barrel back, and I put this in there for about 16 months. So this is about 28, 29 months on this one.
So it was already aged that 1.5 years, which got us to this flavor that we all love.
Yep.
And now you put it back in for another
16 months or so. So almost, so it's almost 3 years. Yeah, so almost 3 years on this one. This one, though, the only downside of this one is it's limited. Very limited, because it's only one barrel. We take one barrel and we take it to that brewery. They fill it up. I get that barrel back and I fill it back up. So in this one, I get somewhere between 300 to 350 bottles out of it. So what we do is, since every one of them is different, we hand write on there where the brewery or what brewery it is. This one in particular is Persimmon Hollow. They aged it in a stout barrel, and then on the back we hand number every bottle as well. Wow. We only got 312 out of this one. Once it's gone, it's gone. Okay. Way too many variables. So there's no way we'll be able to recreate this one. Okay. So, something a little unique, something a little special, and honestly, one of my favorites. All right.
You can keep going.
I know, I was about to say, we could keep going. Cheers. Plenty more where that came. Well, not plenty of that one. Right, seriously. Different smell, right?
Yeah. It's very fruity. Like almost like a barrel of real ripe peaches or something, and some vanilla, some wood.
See, it's working. Different than what you smelled, though, isn't it?
Wow.
So this one, I actually pick up, and everybody's palate's a little different.
Fruity,
little earthy, but you also get some of those roasted coffee and cocoa and almost like nutty type notes. And that's from the stout. Again, there's nothing we add to this. It's just from the stout that would happen to be in that barrel. So on the nose on this one's a little bit different because you actually do get some of those, like you said, the peaches, some of the fruitier notes. On the tongue, though, you actually get some of those coffee, cocoa.
For sure.
And more of the roasted type flavors.
Yeah.
Get more of that earthiness to it.
Yeah. Got it. So there's more to it than that. Apparently the olfactory senses, you were